Alright guys, it is the last UFC event of 2025 before we go into the Paramount season where there are going to be no pay-per-views. And we have UFC Fight Night Royval versus Kape taking place in the UFC APEX. Woo! Anyway, shitty fight venue aside, we are going to be predicting and breaking down all of the fights on this card, and I'm also going to be giving out my fight card awards, kicking it off with the first fight of Jamey-Lyn Horth versus Tereza Bleda to kick things off. Now, this fight was actually supposed to happen back in June, but Tereza Bleda withdrew, and she's been having some inconsistency issues, that's for sure, because she has not fought this year. She did not fight pretty much the whole of last year. Her last fight was against Gabriela Fernandez in 2023, and granted, she looked pretty decent there, but I mean, her debut was when she was 21 years old. Like, she has not fought in so long, and coming into this matchup, Jamey-Lyn Horth, yes, she's been inconsistent. She's gone win, loss, but before that, I mean, coming into the UFC, she was undefeated, and she has really tightened up her game since losing to Miranda Maverick, where she struggled a lot with the control-based game, and then to Veronica Hardy, where she struggled with the strike speed and the control overall in that matchup as well. But when it comes to Jamey-Lyn Horth and her improvements and her activity, her striking has looked very good. She fought Vanessa Demopoulos last time out. Granted, Vanessa never should have moved up to flyweight. Don't know why she did. She's way too damn small. Jamey-Lyn Horth had like a 6 to 7 inch reach advantage in that matchup, and she just pieced her off. Now in this matchup, Tereza Bleda is a big flyweight, 5'9", 71 inch reach. Now, I would be a lot more on that if she could really utilize her striking well. She's just not far enough into her MMA career to utilize it. She has a wrestling base, and yeah, I haven't just really seen much of it, to be honest. I mean, she fought Natalia Silva, got chinned by Natalia. Yeah, she just hasn't looked that fantastic. Against Gabriela Fernandez, wasn't too much striking there. She used a lot of her wrestling base, as you would expect her to do so. But Jamey-Lyn Horth on the other side, she's strong. She's got good takedown defense ultimately, especially against the pedigree of Tereza Bleda. And the contrast in the striking overall mixes her combinations very well with her hands to really set up her body kicks. Her body kicks are the best part of Jamey-Lyn Horth's arsenal without a doubt. And I honestly just think she's more technical in this matchup. Like, it can be a close fight, especially if Tereza Bleda gets her wrestling off early. But I think it's just going to be easier said than done to really get the wrestling off while also dealing with Jamey-Lyn Horth's striking. She's going to be good at circling on the outside, getting those body kicks in. I don't think Tereza's going to have a whole lot for Jamey-Lyn, to be honest. I'm going to be taking Jamey-Lyn Horth by a 29-28 decision. I think she's going to get round 1 and round 3. I think Tereza Bleda could show some desperation and frustration after round 1, after Jamey-Lyn Horth is just circling on the outside and just picking her apart with the striking. I think Bleda gets a bit of control in the second round, but then from there, I think Jamey-Lyn Horth just resets, goes back to it, really starts stuffing the takedowns. Bleda starts to tire out. Jamey-Lyn Horth just starts picking her apart. Jamey-Lyn Horth has shown like real no cardio issues either. Like, she had a high-paced fight with Veronica Hardy, high-paced fight with Vanessa Demopoulos. Really no cardio issues there, to be honest. I think she's just going to be doing a very good job along the outside to take this 29-28. Moving up the card to Alan Frye versus Guilherme Pat. Now, this was a real struggle, as you can tell on the screen, because firstly, Alan Frye, I apologize, his photo looks like absolute dog shit, but that's literally the only photo I could get of him just facing front on. I cannot find anything of this dude. And same with Guilherme Pat. I mean, you can see we don't even have the dude's age. Don't even know how old this guy is. I mean, can't really take that into as a factor, but he looks young, I guess, and I can pretty much wrap this up fairly quickly. Alan Frye doesn't have too much footage on him. He's got a 100% finish rate, great, but just haven't seen too much. And the guys that I've seen him fight are literally just guys straight out of a bar. Like, there's not much to him. Like, he hasn't really shown anything fantastic. And also, against some of those guys, he got taken down pretty easily. Like, he's just looking like a one-trick pony from the footage that I've been able to actually get. But do let me know in the comments if you've seen anything else of this guy, but I just haven't seen much, or if you know the guy. But Guilherme Pat on the other side, seen a lot more of him in the sense of just actual high quality footage that doesn't look like it's recorded on a fucking potato. He is definitely the more athletic guy, a lot more powerful, has a rig on him. He's got good straight shots. He's athletic, good clinch knees as well. He's a guy that really imposes his will. Yeah, I just haven't seen a lot of great work from Alan Frye, and I've seen a lot more work from Guilherme Pat, and ultimately, comparatively, with the tools that I've seen of both of them on the feet, I think Guilherme Pat's going to knock this dude out. I think Alan Frye is probably going to be getting chinned in the first round, maybe the second round. I think Guilherme Pat's just going to impose his will, get him into clinch range, just really knee him to the body, really drain out the body, and then I think he's just going to honestly just get a flurry against the cage and knock this guy out. There's not much to it. Wish I could analyze more, but this is what we're really dealing with at this point. Now, moving up the card, we got Luana Santos versus Melissa Croden. Now, from what I've seen with Luana Santos, I mean, especially moving up to bantamweight now, she struggled a little bit at flyweight, but up at bantamweight, man, she's looked fantastic. She looked great against Tainara Lisboa, completely controlled her, used her judo fantastically well, and then hit her with an Americana. Just honestly, absolutely dominated her. And then Melissa Croden on the other side, she opened up the fight night between RDR and Allen for her UFC debut, and outworked Tainara Lisboa, the poor thing. Tainara Lisboa is catching a beating. She's good herself, but both of these girls are definitely legit. Melissa Croden is a big, bloody muscular bantamweight. She's got some bloody delts on her. She is big, and she's got good leg kicks, good clinch-based knees as well. She's someone that likes to bully her opposition, just really gets in close, just really tries to make it a dirty fight. She's got a good stiff jab as well, but I will say her strike defense needs work, especially on the back foot, and her cardio, I think, is a little bit suspect against Tainara Lisboa. Lisboa was really pushing with the output through the second round, and you could see Melissa Croden was breathing pretty heavy, but it looked like she caught a second wind in the third round and just started piecing her up. So that's where it's going to be interesting to see how Melissa Croden's actual cardio goes against Luana Santos if she gets Melissa to the ground, because that's where Luana, if she gets her to the ground early, I'm going to be pretty worried for Melissa Croden coming into this, to be honest. I don't think she's going to be able to stand much of a chance on the ground. I haven't seen a real ground game-based pedigree from her. Luana Santos in her last fight just seriously impressed me. She's got a lower center of gravity, fantastic with her trips, really good control, good submission-based game, 5-0 with her subs. And Melissa Croden, I mean, if this is staying on the feet, I think Croden can really do some damage against Luana Santos. But Luana Santos is gritty. She's gritty. She's durable. She likes that high-paced fight. I don't think Melissa Croden's going to be able to take Luana Santos out. And that's where I think if Croden slows down at all, Santos is looking for one thing: to trip her, get her down, control her, and submit her. And that's where I think that is going to be happening. I think it's going to happen in either round 2 or round 3. I think Luana Santos is going to get Melissa Croden down. Croden's going to try frame back up. I think Luana Santos sinks in a rear naked choke there and then takes Croden out when she's really getting more so gassed out, trying to get up from Luana Santos. I think Croden could honestly have some decent success in the first round, and that is her best chance to take Luana Santos out on the feet. But if not, I think Luana Santos is just going to be able to consume her and get that submission late. Moving up the card to Sean Sharaf versus Stephen Asplund. Now, Sharaf, this guy fought Junior Tafa on his UFC debut for 4 days' notice. Was not impressive at all, but it was 4 days' notice, so fair enough. Junior Tafa, I mean, didn't look great himself in that fight against a guy that was on 4 days' notice. Sean Sharaf, he's a guy that's got heart, but I mean, he's just really not that impressive. I really don't think so. Like, he couldn't get Junior Tafa down, could not stand with Junior for shit. I mean, Junior Tafa comes out of NTG. He's got good kickboxing. He got good counter striking in that matchup, good forward pressure. He's, I mean, very, very high output as well when it came to just that fight in general until they got to the second round and both completely gassed out. And that's where it's hard to really judge Sean Sharaf overall against higher opposition, like higher caliber opposition, and seeing how his cardio goes. But yeah, I just don't think he's going to be standing much of a chance. Even with a full camp, I don't see him having a fun time against Stephen Asplund. Asplund is just that physical force. He just looked fantastic against Garasio on Dana White's Contender Series, just instantly knocked him out. He's got great lunging shots, really nice boxing combinations. That reach that he has, he puts it to damn use. And especially against a guy like Sharaf, who's more of a blob. I mean, so is Asplund. You can kind of tell that by his photo. But Sharaf, like, he's not a guy that has, like, a real good agility or anything like that. He's kind of just one of those heavy-lugging heavyweights. And Stephen Asplund, he's got more athleticism to him. And yeah, I think Asplund's going to be taking him out. And I think if he's going to be taking him out, it's going to be bloody bad. And I think it's going to be in the first round. I think it's going to be under a minute. He's just so dangerous on the feet. Sharaf needs to get Asplund down immediately. Don't see that happening, to be honest. I haven't seen anything impressive of his takedown offense, and I think Asplund's just going to impose his will and bully him, get the KO TKO in the first round. I am giving Asplund my Performance of the Night award for this card. I think that he's just going to be too dominant in this situation. I think he's just going to be able to take Sharaf out pretty badly. I think he's going to land a looping shot over the top using a nice lunging overhand and then just clean him up against the cage. Moving up the card to a more high-level one, Joanderson Brito versus Melsik Baghdasaryan. Now, this is a very good matchup because Joanderson Brito, he's kind of been MIA since Pat Sabatini absolutely ruined him on the ground. And Melsik Baghdasaryan has gone up against Gene Silva and has been completely decimated. Like, he just got made fun of completely. It wasn't competitive at all. So both of these guys coming in here, gonna be hungry. They need to prove themselves. And I mean, Melsik Baghdasaryan, he is a good kickboxer. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the Gene Silva fight did not do that any justice, but he does have double the output and is more accurate on the feet than Joanderson Brito, but he has much less experience in MMA and he's lost to kind of any quality opposition like Josh Kulabau, where he got submitted, and of course Gene Silva. But when it comes to his kickboxing, he does have good timing on his shots. He's just very calm and composed on the feet, as long as he's not going against an absolute killer. But that's where Joanderson Brito, realistically, the guy is an absolute killer, and he's not one-dimensional like Melsik is. He's got a ground game, and I mean, Brito is really going to be hungry in this fight. I mean, he's coming off back-to-back losses where he arguably beat William Gomez, who is definitely better than Melsik Baghdasaryan on the feet anyway. And if he won that fight, which he technically should have, he wouldn't have had to fight Pat Sabatini, which Pat Sabatini was a very bad loss. But when we look at that loss from Pat Sabatini, Melsik Baghdasaryan does not have that ground game. They're just completely different dimensions. Like, Melsik Baghdasaryan doesn't have a threat for Joanderson Brito on the ground, and if Brito is going to be able to just impose his will wherever he wants, which I think he realistically can, even with Melsik's kickboxing, I think Brito is he's one of those fighters similar to Gene Silva that can really pressure heavy and bully. Melsik doesn't do well when he gets pressured heavy. He needs the distance, and that's where Joanderson Brito, I don't think he's going to be giving him that distance, but I don't think Joanderson Brito is really going to be fucking around here. Firstly, he's fought better opposition, and with his aggression, I think that he's just not going to be able to allow him to breathe. He is going to take down Melsik Baghdasaryan. Brito's got very good takedown offense statistically. I think he's going to be able to get Melsik down, and from that, I honestly think that Joanderson Brito is going to be able to submit Melsik Baghdasaryan here. I just think he's too well-rounded in his MMA game. I don't think Melsik Baghdasaryan has anything to really threaten Joanderson Brito with when it comes to being on the back foot or being on the ground. And I don't see Brito getting pressured backwards consistently by Melsik Baghdasaryan here. It's going to be a second round submission, and I think it's going to honestly probably be a rear naked choke finish. Moving up the card, we got Neil Magny versus Yaroslav Amosov. Now, this is one that I'm very keen for, especially on the side of Yaroslav. Very, very good fighter. And Neil Magny, we know him. He's got a wealth of experience. He's fought the who's who in welterweight, but he's getting long in the tooth now. And aside from that controversial Jake Matthews win, I mean, he's lost badly to Carlos Prates and Michael Morales, which is Nothing to make fun of. Both those guys are absolute killers. I mean, we can ask Sean Brady and Leon Edwards that. But aside from those, he's actually looked pretty decent, especially against Eliseo Deleski dos Santos, where he got that knee in pretty clean and just dominated him there. Also, his comeback win against Mike Malott, so he's still got that heart, he's still got that grit. But we know that he's cemented as a gatekeeper, and we know that in terms of having any form of prospects come through, they're realistically just got to stamp their ticket on the Neil Magny train. So Yaroslav Amosov, I mean, the dude's good, man. Like, honestly, it's a great experience test for Yaroslav in Neil Magny, but Yaroslav, man, this guy is legit. He's currently in his prime for starters, where Neil Magny's almost 40, and Yaroslav was the former welterweight champion in Bellator, where he went 8-1, and he only got finished by Jason Jackson, and Jason Jackson is a very, very credited champion. He did bounce back, beating Curtis Melender by an anaconda choke in Cage Fury, so he's got a bit of momentum on his side. He's beaten great guys like Logan Storley and Douglas Lima as well while having the title. He's a very well-rounded dude. You can see he's got 9 KOs, he's got 11 submissions, he's got a very high finishing threat. He's only been beaten this one time, and he's fought decent opposition. There's not really much like record padding here either, and I mean, it's credit to him, because watching his highlights and seeing him in his fights, he's got great timing with his double leg takedowns. He's got nice outside trips, he's got good body lock takedowns as well. On the feet, he's got decent straight shots. He's very aggressive when it comes to his flurries against the cage, and I mean, he's got brutal ground and pound. If he gets it to the ground with that wrestling, I mean, and the trips, nasty chokes, especially his anacondas and especially his guillotine chokes. He's got just relentless pressure. He's a dog, and I just don't think Neil Magny is going to be able to deal with the pace and the pressure. Yaroslav isn't a very big welterweight, and he's fought bigger welterweights before, and he's going to be able to close the distance very well here. I just don't think Neil Magny, especially being this long in the tooth now, I think the odds are just fair, and Yaroslav could get Neil Magny down, just, you know, really just start piecing him up with shots and then just try hunt for that submission. But I think Amosov is going to really want to make a statement here, and I think he will. I think he's going to get the KO TKO finish. He's going to be my fighter to watch. He's going to get that fighter to watch award. I just think the guy being so well-rounded, coming through as a credited welterweight Bellator champion, he's just a great addition to an already stacked welterweight division in his prime. Perfect time to be signing this dude. I'm keen to see him. I think he's going to really get some nice flurries against Neil Magny, closing off that distance against the cage. I think he might drop Magny, or most likely take Magny down off a couple shots, just get a nice level change, get him down, and then ground and pound him out. Now, moving up the card, we got Amanda Lemos versus Gillian Robertson, which is a very, very good test for Robertson to get into that top 5. And is it deserved? Absolutely. She has looked fantastic, literally going through her career from that Tabitha Ricci loss. Going from there, going on a 4-fight win streak, she's looked very impressive. 2 KO finishes, or KO TKO finishes, and 2 decision wins. When we look at the test, I mean, Amanda Lemos is always going to be a threat on the feet. She's explosive, she's got a lot of power in her hands. I will say she has improved her offensive takedown game as well, and defensively isn't the worst, and she's got good strike accuracy and is better with her striking overall, and is faster than Gillian Robertson on the feet. But she is very inconsistent. She's done well against fighters who decide to stand with her, like Yasmin Lucindo, like Mackenzie Dern, and Marina Rodriguez. But then she gets suffocated by high-level ground game artists like Zhang Wei Li in the title fight, Verna Jandiroba, where she got armbarred, and now she's facing Gillian Robertson, who's on a 4-fight win streak, as I said, and has improved her striking to really especially set up her level changes. And even though Lemos, you know, had that performance against Tatiana Suarez where she did perform very well and could arguably won that fight and was doing well to get back to the feet from Tatiana's takedowns, the big problem with Tatiana Suarez in comparison to Gillian Robertson is Tatiana Suarez can't set up her takedowns with striking like Gillian Robertson can, and she has proven so in her last 4 fights especially. And Gillian doing that, she is a prevalent finisher, especially on the ground, and I just think where Gillian Robertson, just with her momentum at the moment, I mean, she's got great coaches like Dean Thomas, like she's just really, really performing just out of her skin at the moment. I think going through that, I can honestly see if she gets this to the ground, I don't think she's going to give Lemos a chance to breathe. And Lemos on the ground, in terms of getting back up against wrestlers, she's pretty decent. Against grapplers, she's shown time and time again that it's just not looking good in terms of just being susceptible for submissions, and that's exactly what's going to happen here. I think Gillian Robinson's going to get Lemos down, probably, honestly, in round 2. Oh, actually, no. It's going to be round 1. Gillian Robinson's going to waste no time. She's going to get Lemos down. She's going to land some nice ground and pound in full mount. And that's where I think Amanda Lemos is going to try and obviously frame, transition up, I don't want to be getting ground and pounded. I want to get back up. And then that's where I think Gillian Robertson just transitions, flips over, and gets an armbar finish by the end of the first round. Now, moving up to our main card, we got Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Marcus Buchecha. Now, Marcus is a BJJ world champion, very high pedigree, no gi and gi, and he's a dude that's like, when you get to the ground, I mean, he can submit Kennedy Nzechukwu. Like, he is very credited there, but it's not jiu-jitsu. We're obviously in MMA, and he fought Martin Budai and had all of his single leg takedowns stuffed. I mean, he doesn't have great takedown offense. He's missing part A, he's missing part B, he's only got part C. Part A is striking, part B is wrestling, part C is the grappling and submission base. He's got that in spades, but the striking, he's okay. He's not too bad. He's got some decent straight shots on him. Like, he's all right there. But he really eats a damn shot. Like, he's got a chin on him. He's got a damn chin. Budai was lighting him up. Very heavy as well. Budai struggles to make bloody 265. And Budai was really tagging Buchecha with some shots. Did not go down. And honestly, that's where, in terms of defensively, not the greatest, but durability, he's got a lot of heart. But if you're going against a guy like Kennedy Nzechukwu, who is a lot faster than Budai, has a lot of stiff straight shots, like he's a guy that can mix combinations quicker and faster and accumulate damage better, that's where it's definitely dangerous. But I will say, Kennedy Nzechukwu, I think, especially after losing to Walter Walker, he's gonna have that real just hesitation in terms of letting go with his hands, because he doesn't want to be getting taken down by another Brazilian submission artist. And that's where Kennedy Nzechukwu, I think it's very close. I think it's very close, honestly, but with the experience that Nzechukwu has had across his career and obviously learning from the Walter Walker loss, I am going to say that Kennedy Nzechukwu does get this done. I genuinely think that Kennedy is just going to land too much damage on Marcus. I just don't like his strike defense. He doesn't have the takedown offense to get Kennedy down and just absolutely consume him, unless he gets Kennedy off balance. But if Kennedy is aware, it's just not going to be happening. I don't think Kennedy's going to get taken down. And if that's the case, accumulation of damage, I think that Kennedy Nzechukwu is going to be taking him out in the second round. I mean, if it gets to the ground, I could see Buchecha definitely putting in like a north-south choke or a heel hook again. Definitely. He's got an arsenal of tools there, but until he actually mixes up a full MMA game in an MMA fight, I'm not taking him. Moving up the card, we got Melquizael Costa versus Morgan Charrier. Now, this is a very close fight. Obviously, you can see by the odds here, Melky Costa is the favorite by a hairline. Do I agree with that? Honestly, doesn't matter. Could be $1.90 to $1.90. Could go either way. There's a lot of variables to this fight. Melky, I mean, he has been looking very impressive since his Steve Garcia loss. Morgan Charrier, aside from his Nate Wood loss, has been looking very impressive. Both of these guys are very good, and honestly, winner of this could be looking at a top 15 shot. It's more so going to be a control versus volume fight, I do think so. I mean, Melky does have some tools on the feet, I will say. He's got some pretty good high output, and he's got some nice hooks as well. And I think when it comes to close quarter exchanges, he can compete. But obviously, he wants to get this to the ground. He's got 8 submissions to his name. Morgan Charrier, he's a guy that has like decent tools on the ground. He can keep himself safe, but in terms of transitional capabilities, he doesn't want to be there with Melchizedek Costa. Now, Charrier, though, on that other side, when it comes to the volume and the striking pedigree, the guy can land more damage on the feet for sure. Costa is actually more statistically accurate and has decent head kicks and, as I said, hooks, just decent fast strikes, but Charrier is just more technical overall when it comes to mixing up his tools. Like, he did struggle a bit against Nate Wood. As I said, he did lose to him and he did get dropped and controlled, but I don't see Melchizedek Costa landing the same shot that Nate Wood did on Charrier. And that's where Melchizedek Costa, I think, is going to struggle to really utilize wrestling and takedown offense to get Charrier to the ground. Charrier is very, very good with his takedown defense. He's got a judo black belt, I'm pretty sure. Like, he's got some decent tools, hidden tools on the ground. And I mean, he's got a good takedown defense anyway, 83%. And I mean, we haven't seen a lot of guys be able to break through that. And Morgan Charrier, especially with his tools that he mixes up as a kickboxer, great jab, great body kicks at range, good linear evasiveness as well. He's just going to be really hard for Melchizedek Costa to tag. And Melchizedek Costa, if he's getting ripped to the body and he's slowing down and Charrier is keeping that pace, I just think Melchizedek Costa, if he's not getting this fight to the ground early, I don't see him winning this fight. I don't think he can compete overall with the depth of tools that Charrier has as a kickboxer, especially at range. If it's at boxing range, he might stand a bit more of a chance, especially with his flurries, but aside from that, I just really can't. Like, I just think Morgan Charrier has got that there. And Melchizedek Costa, I don't think his wrestling pedigree is good enough. And that's where I'm going to be taking Charrier, but by a split decision, because Melchizedek Costa seriously cannot underestimate this dude when it comes to clinch-based exchanges, just making it dirty. And Morgan Charrier, we know that he has been lackadaisical in the past. You can see by his losses. He has lost 10 times by decision, and that's where he lets the fight slip away from him, especially when it comes to guys that can really make it dirty, really push the pace. Morgan Charrier likes a bit more of a pretty fight, which pretty much every Frenchman does. But that's where I think it's honestly going to be a split decision. Control versus volume. I think the real breaker here is that Melchizedek Costa's wrestling isn't going to be strong enough. I think there's just going to be a lot of exchanges between them two. I think Morgan Charrier, especially in the first round, I think these guys are just going to be very high output. Second round, I think Morgan Charrier does just get some more shots off. I think he's going to be making the second round his bit more cleaner. Melchizedek Costa through the third round really gets gritty, really uses clinch-based exchanges, potentially gets Charrier down in the third, but I think it's going to be too little too late, and that damages that first criteria is going to come in for Morgan Charrier, and I've got to be giving him my upset of the night. Not a big one, but I mean, it's going to make sense later on. This is the upset of the night award that I'm going to have to give, and it's just going to go for the slightest of underdogs, Morgan Charrier. Now moving up the card to Cesar Almeida versus Cezary Oleksiejczuk. Now, this is a great fight. Cesar Almeida, fantastic credited kickboxer, has fought Alex Pereira in the past, has looked good in his career, honestly. I mean, aside from losing a split decision to Roman Kopylov, who is no joke on the feet himself, Cesar Almeida is a very, very credited good kickboxer, has good combinations with his hands, utilizes nice body kicks, rips the body badly. He is just a very clean, methodical kickboxer. And Cezary, on the other side, he is a big middleweight. He's got a bit of hype on his name because he is the younger brother of Mikel Oleksiejczuk, obviously, and he's coming through as a 25-year-old that's coming out of Fighting Nerds gym, and so he'll be learning a lot. But the reason why he does have some name value and why he's high up on this fight night, the dude's good, man. He's better than his older brother. He seriously is better than Mikel. I strongly believe that. Even now, I think that he is better. Watching him go through multiple regional scene promotions and get the wins that he has, he's vicious. Nasty, nasty combinations. He really likes his straight shots, his 4-piece combos. He's on a 4-fight finish streak at the moment, and I mean, he's even got a ground game, dude. Like, it doesn't even, it doesn't state by his record 2 submissions to his name, but he's a guy that can honestly get you to the ground and land some really mean ground and pound. And he's hit an anaconda choke and an armbar finish as well as submission, so he does have tools there. And most importantly as well, in terms of MMA, like, he's got twice the amount of actual MMA fights in his pro scene over Cesar Almeida. He's got 3 5-round fights under his belt on the regional scene. So he's gonna make it very competitive. He's got vicious ground and pound when he gets it there. I mean, which he potentially seriously could against Cesar Almeida. This is a very dangerous fight for both of them. Obviously, both have heavy KO rates, but Cezary, I think he's the real deal, man. Like, Almeida himself, I mean, if he's really imposing his will and getting off on the front foot, then he's probably going to win the fight. But Cezary, the guy is so fast. Like, his hand speed is really, really quick. Very dangerous when it comes to his combinations. Uses more boxing-oriented style. But honestly, if they're in boxing exchanges, I think he's going to be clipping Cesar Almeida more so. Almeida, you got to remember, he's 37 years old. He's not getting any younger. Like, he is credited and he's very dangerous, but if it comes to it, I think Oleksiejczuk can get Almeida to the ground and land some decent ground and pound. Get some control in there too. Taking by a decision, it's not a super confident pick. Obviously, Cezary's great, but he hasn't fought a credited kickboxer to the level of Cesar Almeida. And Cesar Almeida, I mean, he's fought a guy similar to Cezary, like Roman Kopylov, but I think Cezary is just even more complete than Roman Kopylov. So very dangerous, and I think this up-and-coming prospect, he's going to be doing some damage. Now, moving on to the co-main event, we have got Giga Chikadze putting his ranking on the line against the Argentinian Topuria, Kevin Vallejos. This is a great fight. Very, very good. Obviously, kickboxing level of Giga Chikadze is legit. Crisp kickboxer, very good at range, very good with his body kicks. He's a good forward pressure fighter. And he's going against honestly, probably the best top 145-pound prospect outside of the rankings. Like, Giga Chikadze, the guy obviously has a longer reach, 6 inches of reach advantage here. And he needs to keep this at range. But the problem with Giga, he needs to keep this at range, but he can't fight on the back foot. He's more of a pretty fighter. He needs to really get the forward pressure off while simultaneously maintaining his range. And that's where we've seen problems with Giga. Arnold Allen cutting off that distance, making it ugly. Kelvin Kattar absolutely mincing Giga's face to bits, making him look like Freddy Krueger. Credit to Giga in terms of his durability. The guy is durable as hell. But Kevin Vallejos coming into this matchup, Kevin is literally a boxer. He is an Ilia Topuria. He has that boxing pedigree in spades. He's got such nice combinations that are going to be able to disrupt the long-range weapons of Giga Chikadze, like those leg kicks, like those body kicks. I mean, Vallejos just does a great job of cutting off opponents anyway. He likes to prowl. He likes to really cut them off, get them against the cage, and just land some really clean combinations. His timing is extremely impressive. And with that switch stance style, when he uses those flurries, he uses that switch stance style to cover more distance, which is even worse for Giga in terms of timing the shots out of whatever stance he's using to counter him, while also trying not to allow him to forward pressure to get into boxing range, where Giga is not going to win a boxing fight against Kevin Vallejos. I mean, Giga has fought better opposition overall, but man, Kevin Vallejos is legit. Like, Giga lost to David Onama, and that's where it was ugly in that fight too. I mean, Giga, as I said, he's the pretty kickboxer. He's a forward pressure kickboxer, struggles too much on the back foot. Vallejos will put him on the back foot, and I just see Vallejos consistently working the body up close. He's not going to allow Chikadze to get his rhythm off. I think it's going to be similar to the Kelvin Kattar fight. Probably not as much damage, that's for sure, but I think Vallejos is just going to have so much cage control in this matchup. I think he's really going to disrupt the rhythm, and I think he's just going to really press with that volume. I mean, he's got double the volume anyway, and I could honestly see Kevin Vallejos mixing in takedowns to get this fight done. I mean, Giga also, almost being 38 years old now, is not helping him in terms of the type of fighter that he is, with the strike speed he has, with the tools he has. He needs that precision, he needs that agility, and that will slowly be getting taken away from him as he gets older. Kevin Vallejos is 24 years old. He's hungry. I mean, he's only lost to Gene Silva by a decision, which was extremely competitive. Kevin Vallejos, he's going to be getting a ranking spot out of this, and he definitely deserves it. I think he's just going to be mixing to the body extremely well, landing crisp overhands like he did against Sung Hoo Choi. Really, really nice combinations in that boxing range that Giga's not going to be able to deal with, and that's where I think Kevin Vallejos, I think he's going to get a 30-27 decision here. Now, moving on to the main event, the last fight of 2025. We're going out with the damn bang, boys. Brandon Royval versus Manel Kape. This is a fantastic way to wrap up this year. Royval is a dog, man. This guy, I mean, just like in that Joshua Van fight, you got to put respect on his name. He's always entertaining. Manel Kape on the other side, this guy has just got lightning in his hands. He's so damn fast with that strike speed. We're going to be in for a good fight. Now, Royval, he's the taller guy. You would think that he would have a reach advantage here, but he doesn't, which is a big detriment to him against a guy like Manel Kape. And that's where I think especially the details in the striking are going to be absolutely key to a winner here. As yes, Royval is the more well-rounded guy. He's got a BJJ black belt, but honestly, even though Royval has a high takedown accuracy, he hits like 3 out of 4 of his takedowns for the 4 that he shoots, and he was able to get Tatsuro Taira down 3 times in that fight, which was also another fucking banger. I simply just don't see him finding the success in getting takedowns against Manel Kape. I mean, firstly, with Manel Kape, because of the low center of gravity, and also the way that Manel Kape positions his hips, but also it's mainly down to the pedigree of striking of Manel Kape on the feet. He's got more of an offensive threat on the feet than Tatsuro Taira, and then most of the guys that Brandon Royval has actually fought, and it seriously takes an absolute bloody mauler like Alexandre Pantoja or Muhammad Makayev to stop Manel Kape. I mean, I would go like that for Makayev, because I would barely argue it, because Kape literally was fouled like 3 to 4 times in that fight, got dacked, got eye poked, got groin shotted, and almost had his toe broken in that fight, and wasn't taken down in that fight before that, and was still sprawling away from Makayev most of the time. So yeah, honestly, Kape is very underrated when it comes to his takedown defense. And granted, his performance, Manel Kape's performance against Asu Almabayev was controversial, but he's just so good with his pace. He completely outworked him with really clean combinations in that fight. Asu Almabayev was looking fantastic leading up to that, picked him apart. He did not have any business being in there with Manel Kape. That's where, as a wrestler of Asu Almabayev's pedigree, you can tell it's quite hard to press Manel Kape backwards, and Manel Kape keeps those hips back almost always, so it's really hard to take him down. I mean, you see that in the Bruno Silva fight. He could not take him down for shit. I mean, he was trying to get those body locks in. Manel Kape hips back, just scoops under his arms, get underhooks, pushes him away. Happened so many times. I mean, very similarly in the Muhammad Makayev fight. Makayev could barely get him down either, and that's where that 81% takedown defense of Manel Kape really comes in strong. As I said before, as Asu Almabayev as a strong wrestler couldn't do it at all, I mean, I don't really see Brandon Royval being able to utilize a form of wrestling to get Manel Kape down. And Manel Kape's strike speed, in contrast, is just so fast. Like, realistically, I think he's the most dangerous striker in the flyweight division overall, even more than Joshua Van. I just think so in terms of the punching power he does have. Like, he's 13-0 with KOs. Like, he's more of a KO, like, actual threat than Van. Van's more on volume and technique. And you got to say that, especially with Manel Kape going absolute god mode against Bruno Silva in that fight. It was just a mauler, like ridiculously crisp counter striking, was tagging him with the lead left strikes, mixed up leg kicks, knees, and kicks to the body. He's just way too quick on that linear axis. He was literally showboating the whole time, was in the matrix. Like, Bruno Silva was throwing absolutely everything at him, was just ducking and weaving pretty much everything. He got tagged like once in the third round, made his nose bleed a little bit. Aside from that, I mean, it kind of just woke Manel Kape up even more, and then he finished him. Like, he's just so dangerous. And the thing I don't agree with the stats here is with the stance, with him being stated as a southpaw. He's more of a switch stance style fighter. He can fight out of both stances, which makes him even more of a problem. His strike speed is honestly the fastest in the division that I've honestly seen, and I think that that's really going to be giving Royval trouble. And look, don't get me wrong, Royval is an absolute dog. We've seen him be nothing but entertaining in his career, and he's very well rounded, and he stands a very strong chance of winning this fight, especially if he can impose his will on the ground early. But as I said, I don't think it's getting there. And look, his striking is very good, and he can definitely compete and make it competitive with Manel Kape. I mean, he outworked Tatsuro Taira with really nice, fast, straight strikes, nice long combinations, and he can hold a ridiculous pace, as we know, whether it's 3 or 5 rounds. But Manel Kape is more accurate on the feet statistically, landing over half of the strikes that he throws, and he also absorbs less strikes overall than Brandon Royval. We can tell with that with Royval's fight IQ, especially against Josh Van. Just getting into the pocket, making it a dogfight too much, did not go for any takedowns, and that's what lost him the fight. And that's even to the point being his last fight. Royval has had better UFC experience than Manel Kape, but it wasn't really showing in his latest fight. But then also at the same time, Manel Kape has fought absolute killers in Rising. Like, he's fought Kyoji Horiguchi, who's looking incredible coming back into the UFC. He's fought Kai Asakura. He's fought Ian McCall back in the day. Like, honestly, Manel Kape is credited. And I think we will see Kape really press with that striking. Like, he's going to find that confidence, because Royval, with his strike absorption rate, being the taller guy, doesn't get his chin off the center line too much. He can eat a damn shot. Like, he's durable as hell, and he gave a hell of a fight and ate a lot of shots against Josh Van, but when he trades, he just really struggles to move that head. And with Kape's strike speed, accuracy, and the advantage with the fluidity in his boxing against Royval's susceptible strike defense, with his lack of head movement and poorer strike accuracy in combination, with Kape's ability to stuff takedowns, using underhooks and keeping those hips back against a guy who is not a natural wrestler in Brandon Royval, it's not looking good. If it gets down to the ground and there's grappling there, I think Royval has the advantage, but it's not going to be easy to submit Manel Kape down there anyway, because he's also a BJJ black belt. Obviously not as credited in terms of his offensive submission threat, but defensively he is very good. And that's where I think we're mainly going to be seeing this on the feet. Takedown defense overall. I mean, Brandon Royval not having the wrestling background, that pedigree, I just honestly see a lot of exchanges and accumulation on the feet. And if we're getting anything similar to the Josh Van fight, and for both of these guys wanting to make a statement to get a title shot over either Brandon Moreno or Tatsuro Taira against Pantoja, being the last fight of the year on a main event, I think these guys are going to fucking trade. But if they do, which I think obviously is going to happen, the accumulation of damage on the feet, especially in a 5-round fight with Kape's striking level, especially what he's shown in his recent fights, I think Manel Kape is going to be taking Brandon Royval out late. I think we're going to see a round 3 or round 4 KO TKO finish. I think he's just going to land a clean 1-2 in an exchange where Brandon Royval is extremely bloody. Manel Kape's going to be busted up as well, but Manel Kape's got a fucking chin on him, dude. This guy gets clipped and he does not care. Like, he's got a brick head on him. I mean, he's got an ego on him too, but I mean, he brings it. He justifies that ego. And coming into this, across 5 rounds, I think we are getting a finish. We usually get these high output wars and it does usually go to decisions. We don't often see KO TKOs, but I think to end off the year with a bang, I think we might just be seeing one here. And that's where Manel Kape, I think, honestly, he could be getting the title shot here as a rematch against Pantoja, potentially. I prefer Pantoja versus Merab Dvalishvili, but regardless, great high output fight, and I've got to give it fight of the night. The fight of the night award for sure. I mean, just the output we're going to get, just the overall exchanges with a lot of these guys in the flyweight divisions, they're always just absolute cinema. Flyweight division, the most underrated fucking division there is. And Manel Kape, I got to give him the finish of the night award here as well. If he's finishing Brandon Royval on the feet in a 5-round fight, main event, last fight night, last literal fight of this year, and he knocks out a guy like Brandon Royval after Royval went through a fight with Joshua Van to that extent, yeah, that's making a big statement for Manel Kape, taking a guy like that out, and honestly, making a statement for him to get a title shot. Now, I really hope you enjoyed this predictions and breakdown video, and I really appreciate all the support you guys have given me across this year. It's been honestly fantastic. Love chatting to you guys in the comments. Thank you so much for subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting. Really goes a long way for the channel. Keeps me motivated to keep pumping out content. Please let me know in the comments below any type of content you guys would like to see. I can see what I can whip up. But if you haven't already, definitely just check out the video here on the screen, and please like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.